For the 5th year running, Motorola's spicing up the summer with a smartphone that's not afraid to stand out. But this year, the bombastic brand name feels a bit forced. I'm MrMobile, and I went hands-on with the Moto Z2 Force Edition and the latest Moto Mod, the Moto 360 camera. This is a quick look. The Z2 Force Edition looks a lot like the Z2 Play I reviewed a few weeks ago, which in turn looks a lot like last year's Moto Z line. That familiarity tempers the excitement a bit, but it comes from a good place. Remember, Motorola promised that all of its stick-on Moto Mod accessories from last year would work on this year's phones, and vice versa. We knew that keeping that promise would result in a familiar form factor, so that's pretty easy to forgive. You've really got to be invested in those mods, though, to forgive some of the other design decisions that went into this phone. For one thing, there's still no headphone jack, despite the fact that this chassis is actually a hair thicker than the Z2 Play's. Maybe that's explainable by the larger power pack. Except it's not. Actually, the new Force Edition packs a 9% smaller battery than the Z2 Play, and it's 22% smaller than last year's Moto Z Force. And charging that smaller battery might actually take longer, because there's only a 15-watt charger in the box instead of last year's beefy 25-watt plug. So why does this thing cost over $300 more than the Z2 Play? Well, there are some standouts. The Shatter Shield display cover is back, and Motorola promises it'll make your screen stronger than ever. Indeed, I dropped my review device on concrete less than an hour after receiving it, because I'm an idiot. And it's scuffed, but not shattered. If you do manage to crack it, there's a 4-year warranty backing it up. The display underneath is Quad HD AMOLED. The silicon simmering under the aluminum is the very latest 835 from Qualcomm. 4x4 MIMO is here for high-speed LTE data, and there are 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of storage. Unless, of course, you live anywhere but the US, where you get more. Your consolation prizes: micro SD expansion, a front-facing selfie flash, and the excellent Moto software suite, running atop Android 7.1.1. The most visible upgrade sits in the camera crater. The Z line has finally gotten the dual camera treatment, with a pair of 12-megapixel Sony sensors. One's for color, and the other's monochrome. You've also got portrait mode for a background blurring effect, which seems to work about as well as any of them do. And you can shoot video in 4K. I captured some B-roll with the Force Edition at the press event, including a shot of Mark Guim from Android Central playing with a new mod, the Moto Gamepad. Anyway, we'll see how this camera performs once I can spend some more time putting it through its paces. And the same goes for today's other big headlining camera, the 360 mod. I had an absolute blast with Samsung's Gear 360, and I'm eager to see whether the slightly wider aperture and higher resolution of this mod helps it kick out better images. Certainly the phone's high-end processor should help with that. All the actual work is taking place within the device. Motorola says you should be able to shoot 4K video in 360 with 3D audio for the low price of $299. I asked why an independent battery wasn't included for that price, and was told that, well, for one, the company wanted to emphasize slimness, and for another, the camera doesn't draw all that much juice. We'll see. I came away from the launch event confused and a little concerned. The phone looks promising in the way that most flagship smartphones do, and I have a soft spot for the Moto Mod ecosystem, which is a fun twist on the boring rectangle in your pocket. But with the Z2 Force Edition, Motorola seems to think it can get away with watering down things like battery capacity in order to sell mods, while at the same time demanding prices between $700 and $800 for the privilege. The Z2 Force is going to have to be an outstanding phone to justify that price tag. So, until I can really put the thing through its paces, I'm forced to remain skeptical for now. If you want a Moto Z2 Force Edition, it's up for pre-order now in 3 colors on all major US carriers, and it'll start shipping August 10th, with a free projector mod while they last. No word yet on unlocked pricing, but stay tuned for that and much more in the full review. Until next time, thanks for watching, and stay mobile, my friends.